for CEOs, founders, musicians, celebrities. It just goes on, and the list kind of goes on and on. I mean, I've interviewed astronauts and submarine commanders and senators and just every kind of walk of life. And what we do is we actually have an interview process where we kind of pull the book out of their head with a weekly 1 hour Zoom call. And then after 3 to 4 months, you know, our team of writers sand that down, figure out that thesis, figure out the kind of the, you know, the type of audience you're going after. You know, we make covers, we do the entire process. But the person is just talking, they're just musing, they're not having to write anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's all said and done, they've got a book written by people who make books. I mean, you, Jim, you wrote a book. It sucks, right? It's not a great process. It can be a nightmare, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And unless you're kind of good at it, sometimes it's not going to be great. You know, with us, we've already got, you know, our writers already wrote a ton of books. So they know what good looks like, and then kind of, you know, maximize the best out of the actual author, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting talking about books right now with so many things that are automated. There's still a relevance to books. You know, I just got off another podcast earlier this week with Brad Sugars. He's written 17 books and he keeps writing them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and his philosophy is if you want to be successful in business, read a book every single week. Right. But with Kindle and YouTube and all these other things, people are reading less, but I think they should be reading more.
Yeah, the thing is that the yes, absolutely, is absolutely true. I probably read about, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 books a month. That's what I try to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when an author writes a book, and I'm sure you understand this, you know, you're kind of drawing the line in the sand of your expertise and what you know and what you're claiming and what you believe the future is going to be and what the present is now. Your story, how you got there, why they should trust you, and this is why you should trust me. You know, great. You want to write your own book? Get my book. Awesome. But if you want us to write it, you want to do it right, call us. But here's all the tricks right here. And you're going to find out it's a gigantic pain in the ass to do, in the same way, whether it's marketing, SEO, whatever your book is about. So when we have inbounds, you know, we kind of pre-qual them, and then I just FedEx them a book. You know, then then there's no question. You know, you're talking about, hey, here's work product. Here's what I do.
Yeah.
So the people we write books for, it's a very similar high ticket items. You know, whatever it may be, from advertising to selling yachts. You know, here's the book. This is why you should trust me. And then, you know, boom, send it out.
You talk about on your website developing somebody's brand, and I think this is often overlooked. You know, as individuals, we're all our own brand, but to be able to pull that out of somebody and then allow that to resonate with their followers or people that they interact with, how do you guys do that? Because they're just not confident enough to understand that they're a brand.
Yeah. So it's the many times I've heard it a million times that why would anybody want to read what I have to say, or I've got no story, or I don't know what to, you know, I have no idea what to write about. And it took us a couple of times to get it right, but we kind of have that way of figuring out what that thesis is.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, you got to start with the goal. The goal is to get more business. Great. The goal is to write a thesis. Great. The goal is to just tell your story. That's fine too. Biography. But once you figure out, well, I'm trying to sell more of this, or I'm trying to be an expert in that. I want to, you know, go on the speaking circuit, whatever. I want to be on in the news as an expert. If you start from that goal and you work your way back, we can kind of form that thesis. We can prequel, so to speak, you know, your mythology based on what the actual goal you're trying to get to. For instance, if you like, and a book is great. That could be the foundation, right? But ultimately, it's when you look at brand. For instance, if you Google my name, Scott Turman, you'll see that Google separates me out as the only Scott Turman in the entire world. If you look it up, right?
Yeah.
You go do a search on Bill Gates. You'll see that Google separates him out. He's the only Bill Gates in the entire world as far as Google is concerned. None of that's possible until you write a book or on your Wikipedia page. Writing a book's an easier way of getting that to pop, right?
Yeah.
And that's called a knowledge panel.
Yeah.
That knowledge panel is typically, once you're an author and you kind of do it correctly, you signal that you're the only, you know, Jim Riley on the planet that matters. I'm a this, I'm a that, you know, and then we can help people trigger that. So that's the other kind of services we offer is, you know, once you get the book done or however you want to do, we'll help you get that kind of branding done when people look you up. So Google kind of presents you correctly.
Yeah.
In fact, have you searched your own name before?
Yeah. I share a famous name with a drummer. We battle for top spot. He usually gets it. So we got some work to do.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is that what you could probably do. It comes down to kind of you got to show Google that the authority on Jim Riley. You got to show him that, and then it's kind of a circular firing squad with how all the sources how the sources all kind of agree. We actually just published a book for a guy who's the world authority on this. The fundamentals of brand SERPs.
Brand SERPs, yeah.
And yeah, so literally the CEO of Google says that this guy knows what he's talking about.
Well,
so
that must count.
Go look the book up. Yeah, we published it 2.5 weeks ago. He is number one in 5 or 6 different categories for sales. He's done crazy good for it, but his business blew up. His business here started crushing it as a result of the authority that the book gave him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons to write a book, but I don't know that if you're trying to build your business, build your brand, there's no better way.
Well, and that's the point I wanted to make on this show, because it's all about giving people tools that are listening to the show, and a book is a great tool to enhance all the other things that you're doing. Now, if that's all you wanted to do, then you build your program around promoting that book and signing the signing tour and all those other things. But most people have other things that they're doing, and the book is an enhancement. And I really wanted people to pull that out of this conversation, because you guys offer a lot of those enhancements to allow them to succeed in their world.
Yeah, ultimately it's the brand is becoming the reality, right? Your personal brand is becoming the reality of whoever finds you who doesn't know much about you. That book is a fantastic foundation to build the brand, to build whatever it is you're trying to become known for, ultimately trying to sell, service, be the expert in. Branding is, I think before COVID, it was obviously a thing, but now it's since we spent 2 years not seeing each other face to face. Man, Google is the first spot. It's better than a business card.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you in Montana here. We saw plenty of faces, but we didn't see anybody in any other states. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's the thing is that, we close offices and just send everybody home forever. Everybody's working remotely forever.
I love it. I love the new way that people are working that came out of COVID. I think it's definitely a positive one. But, to your point, you're not working face to face, or people are more remote now than they've ever been. For them to have a resource to learn more about you in an instant, right? Okay, he's taken the time to write a book. There shows some commitment, and it gives some more details about who they are and what's important to them. That can help you get the job.
Yeah. It helps you kind of separate in this highly competitive world. What was it? There was geographic arbitrage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning the ability between us and, let's say, Georgia and New York and Montana to California. Well, there was a geographic barrier. If I was going for a job, I didn't have to worry about you. Well, guess what? I do now.
Yeah.
I have to worry about people who are in a lot of time zones, so I never did before, for whatever it is I'm trying to do, whether it's a job or a position or a service.
Yeah.
And because of that, you have really got to put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
When it comes to when people look you up, they better be blown away. Or the woman or the gal who is awesome, she's going to get the job.
Yeah.
Or he's going to get the job, or whatever. It's you have to outshine everybody around you, or you won't be able to compete.
I'm going to do the hard part for you. I looked through your fees on the books and stuff, and people can search them on their own. But I will say that the amount that you charge to do these services are worth the investment. When people look at what they want to make, what they put, and I work with a lot of coaching clients, they talk about what their ultimate salary is. Well, let me tell you, this is less than 20% of your first year's salary that you could make by writing a book, enhancing who you are, and developing yourself into a better leader or CEO or executive or entrepreneur by writing this book. So, like I said, I'll do the hard work for you and let people know it's worth the investment.
Yeah, the next highest competitor I think is 55. And you'll see that 55 grand all day long. And I think Forbes charges 120 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as it's just the book that we produce is the person. It is every word they said. It is just sanded down and focused and through the correct lens where it's done right the first time, as opposed to having to do 3 books to get it right done on the 4th time.
Yeah.
You have to put some real time into it, and we've already done it. We've done it a ton of times, and we kind of know what we're doing at this point. And it's just a matter of doing it right the first time.
Well, fair warning for everybody that's thinking about writing a book. I don't know if you get this with your clients. I finished the first one. Then the second it was done, and I was reading the actual print edit version. I thought, I think I've got some ideas for a second one, which I never in my wildest dreams thought I would say that. But all of a sudden, you got the fever to kind of put something else out there. Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, I would say 25% of our clients have a second book.
Yeah, yeah,
They write a second book, and it's yeah, for whatever reason you have that thing now there. We want to be very specific and very kind of sharpen the blade a bit to kind of express yourself in a 100 200 page thing. I think once you do it, it's catharsis.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got it out of you, right? You got that whatever. It's almost like sitting with a psychiatrist or something. You were able to finally get that thing, that concept out of your brain onto the page.
Yeah, amazing. What's next for your company, Scott? Where are you guys going? Is this going to remain the primary focus? By the way, nice photos here on the Google search. You look professional and solid.
Yeah, I have definitely we've spent some time making sure that everything we present is of our choosing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a like, I think I share a name with a Power Ranger. That's a problem, right? I had to overcome that. Like the Red Power Ranger, Scott Turman. That was a bit of an issue. So we had to takes a while to get that kind of worked out. But controlling that top 20, top 30 pages, I mean, it also helps once you have that book to go get those quotes in Forbes and, all those things supersede whatever have bubbled up in your past will all be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look up Scott Turman and then click on news, right, on Google, you'll see that come up on Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Inc. magazine, all the way down the line. None of that was possible until I wrote a book. Not a single person would talk to me until I could actually show them I had some expertise in some area. 2 months ago, out of nowhere, like, hey, we want to do an interview. I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And they pull up on Zoom. And I got them ready, and I heard it was a TV thing, so I'd never been on TV before at the time.
Yeah,
got everything on, and I just thought it was just a little interview, and the guy was like, okay, lower your head, left, right, you're live in 3, 2, 1, boom, Turkish national television.
Oh wow.
Seriously, go to YouTube and type in Scott Turman and look it up. I'm nervous. I didn't know. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
First out of the gate there without really knowing, any prep time there. But I've gotten better. I got a better camera, as you can see.
Yeah, looks great.
Before it was a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, TV will do that too. That happened to me once on the Channel 13 news at noon. Brought in some food to cook like I normally would, and I thought they were going to walk me through the whole scenario, and all it says, okay, ready, 5 minutes, we're live. And you're like, wait, where'd you go? Come back. And boom, right. You're on.
I don't really know what I'm doing here. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. The second time you did it, you know what you're doing now.
Yeah.
The third time, for CSNBC or MSNBC or Fox, I'm ready to rock. You know what I'm saying? I've actually got something I can point to, or I don't. I used to work with my boss at Kennedy Space Center. He was calling it shit in the bed. Right? So don't shit in the bed. And you've already got a trigger for not doing that. So it's a little easier to get the second and third one.
Well, here's 2 lessons here for everybody. If you get invited to be on TV, be ready the first time so you don't shit the bed. Because they're ready to go. They're not messing around. The second one, something you touched on real quick, completely irrelevant, but you've got a better camera for your Zoom. I've interviewed people that have gotten jobs over others because their Zoom camera and lighting presents themselves better. So if you're listening, invest in a camera, lighting, make sure they can see you. Think about what's in your background. I've got a rifle in mind. They know not to mess with me. It's a Montana thing.
It's a Winchester 44. 30. Oh, okay.
30. Good eye. Look, I've enjoyed the time that we spent together. I want to be respectful of yours. What is your website for our listeners, and what's the best way to track you down, Scott?
Just go to brightray.com, BRIGHTRAY.com, and just sign up on on one of our kind of, we'll get you on the schedule. If you want to talk about a book, you can find me LinkedIn, all the social media. We have a full-time social media person now, so it's so much easier. It's so much less stress when someone else constantly does the posting for you. But brightray.com.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that, Scott. Hey, he owns the trademark, so don't try to take that. Everything Bright Ray. Okay. So thanks for having us. Look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Nice meeting you, Jim.
Thank you for listening to today's show. It is my pleasure and honor to interview all of the guests that have been on the Answer is Yes podcast. If you have enjoyed the show,